Okay. What the fuck is up, people? Today looks like a perfect day. Let's go outside and check it out. Check it out. Check it out the outside. Check out outside. It's looking mighty nice out here today. Check. This is what we use to make like 30 bands, by the way. That's the whole setup, bro. And mind you, this is the second one we got because our first one fucking broke. So the first one was way bigger than this. Way bigger. It was wider. It was like a heavy duty one. But fuck all that. Look at it. Look at that tree line, man. That shit looks good. But today, guys, all we gonna be doing, we'll be having ourselves a little chat by the lake. We're gonna be talking a little bit, and we're gonna be talking about what's it called? Cheap dopamine. You guys are gonna come with me while I drive to a little lake around. Got a little lake around here. If you guys want to see this is the neighborhood I'm currently in. Currently driving through. And the way I'm holding this is to the face camera, so no, I am not fucking looking through my camera as I'm driving. I'm looking at what's actually happening. Hopefully this is a good angle for you guys. I can't tell. See, take a look around, take a look around, take a look around, take a look around, you know what I'm saying? Now take a look at me. Okay, now take a look around. And this is the part we're about to stop at right here. Right here, you guys see that? That's the park right there. So I'm actually about to pull into this bitch. Pull into this bitch real sturdy. Pull into this hole real sturdy. Okay. So. I don't know if that's a fucking mailbox or what that is. But we're gonna see. So you guys can take a look down here. I don't know if you guys can see the lake, the park, all this stuff. This is where we're gonna be posted at. Okay, so this is gonna be what the lake is looking like. The lake's looking pretty nice today. Thought I saw a guy fishing over there earlier. I guess not. These are little grill areas. I don't know if this is somebody's actual backyard because there's houses and shit, but I don't think this is anybody's backyard. I think I'm gonna just post up here. We're gonna have ourselves a chat. We're tuned in now. How you guys doing? I'm chilling. Hopefully you guys can hear me. We're just chilling. This is the day after I got locked out. You know what I'm saying? Like I just talked about before. I'm not gonna lie, smoking by the lake kind of hits. It's kind of. Got it. Okay. Okay, so what were we talking about earlier? Cheap dopamine, right? So we're gonna talk about cheap dopamine. Cheap dopamine, if you don't know what it means, if you know a little bit about psychology, you probably can infer the meaning. But if you don't know, when I say cheap dopamine, I mean dopamine in terms of the chemical in your brain that gives you joy, that gives you like that sense of like that happiness. The happiness a lot of people get from drugs. Like cocaine releases dopamine. It releases a lot of dopamine compared to other drugs, which is why it's so addictive. Also, this blunt is fucking not pulling as hard as I wanted to. Dopamine is a chemical that gets released when you're happy, and it's also the chemical that gets released in most drugs, which drugs play on, right? When I say cheap dopamine, I mean dopamine that's easy to get. So in your brain, for some reason, one reason or another, your brain is always going to go to the cheapest level of dopamine, the cheapest source of dopamine. That's just always going to be the thing that your brain first wants to get. So say, for instance, you masturbate a lot, right? I've had a problem with this. In my first long relationship, I had a problem masturbating, right? Excuse me. But I had a problem with masturbating, right? I had a problem so much so that literally if my girlfriend would tell me that we're gonna have sex, like she'd be like, we're gonna fuck with it, or something like that. She'd say something. It would make me so nervous to where I couldn't get hard then. Like masturbation gave me that much of an issue. So sources like masturbation, drugs, anything like caffeine, shit like that, those are sources of cheap dopamine. So what I want to talk about is how you can try to get away from cheap dopamine, right? Me, I smoke weed. I guess you can call that my cheap dopamine. But I also do YouTube videos, which I'm now making a habit, which I guess you could also call my now cheap dopamine. Reason being is because when I do these videos, when I do these videos and I'm finished and I edit them and I upload them, I get a big sense of accomplishment. So that is cheap dopamine, but at the same time I did work for it and editing the video and recording the video and putting my thought into the video. You know what I mean? So that's one of my cheap sources of dopamine is YouTube, but that's a valuable source of dopamine because it can provide things for me in the future. Say for instance, these videos pop off in the future, I could, you know what I mean, make money from them, do things, you know what I mean, that type of stuff. But back to the full topic of cheap dopamine, how you can get away from it, and also the problems I've had with it before. So cheap dopamine, it's like you can fall back into it like a cycle. It can also, for women, it could be like a guy, or it could be alcohol, or it could be other things. For men, a lot of the times, it's alcohol, drugs, dealing with hoes, like hoes that you know you aren't going to deal with long term. I feel like that's a cheap source of dopamine that not a lot of people talk about. It's hoes. A lot of dudes, I mean, because it's normal for guys to get hoes, I guess, but I feel like up to a certain point, like, I don't know, I feel like if yearly you're coming, if you're going more than 20 a year, I feel like you're coming a little too strong. You might be coming a little too strong. Or you might just be a nigga that's getting a lot of money. Or if you're a woman, you're probably a hoe. Keeping it buggers, right? Keeping it buggers. But, yeah, sex can be a type of cheap dopamine as well. It really can. But ways to get away from it. Also, I'm going to show off my stand I had here. Because I didn't have a stand, but on this table, I just put a piece of wood and I just hit it in with my lighter, right? It became a stand, so A plus for ingenuity on that one. But yeah, back to cheap dopamine, right? So it can really plague your life if you like to masturbate a lot, if you like to be on social media a lot. That'll take away from your attention span. I've noticed, me personally, when TikTok first came out, I never made a TikTok until I made it for YouTube, right? And I did that because I was also dating that same girl I was talking about, right? So that same girl, she loved TikTok, right? This was after a while, TikTok came out. I still hadn't had a TikTok, I don't think. And then I made one when I was out of a relationship like a year ago, maybe. But I say that to say, me personally, I have struggled in the past with cheap dopamine. So that's why I want to talk about it and getting hits from it, like a drug, like any other drug, right? So I've struggled with it in the past. I still struggle with it to a degree. I think everyone struggles with it to a degree. For older people, it can be things like alcohol a lot of the times, right? Or it can be other things. It can be other things. But cheap dopamine is what drives people into depression. And cheap dopamine is what drives people into shooting up schools and weird shit like that. Like, that's my opinion, right? And I say this because, say for instance, say the shooter, Nicholas Cruz, or the shooter, I forgot what his name was, but he killed a bunch of bitches at college. He was a white dude. I forgot his fucking name. If I remember, I'll say it. But people like that, the reason they shot up schools, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of mental health issues, and that's probably more of a part of it than this. This is probably just a smaller component of it. And I'm not saying this is the full reason they did this, but say for instance, these shooters, right? These people, Eli Rodgers, that's his fucking name, Eli Rodgers. Let's use Eli Rodgers as an example. He's a prime example of cheap dopamine turning into depression and then turning into murder. He killed, I forgot how many people, but he went on the campus, he killed some people. He was a white dude. So basically what he did was he started making YouTube videos similar to this, like weirdly similar to this, like literally just talking into a camera. But he was in his car literally every time, just talking to a camera. But he was just talking. So he started talking to the camera. He would tell people about his day, about girls. He would talk about how he can't get girls or the girls that he wants, or I don't know, something like that. So basically, he was at college. He was seeing other guys get the girls that he wanted, and that turned him over time into a vengeful person, into a spiteful person, into an evil person, honestly, or a person driven to do evil things. Because I don't know the man personally, but he did kill a bunch of people, so he definitely had some evil. But Eli Rodgers is a great example of what cheap dopamine and letting it spiral can do to a person. Because what he did was let his obsession, his cheap dopamine obsession for women, take over and make him emotional. He probably had a lot of mental health issues as well to do some crazy shit like that. But he basically took so much. I'm not explaining. I can't explain it. The nigga shit with his body. Okay. So what he did basically was just let his obsession for cheap dopamine consume him until basically it didn't even become that obsession. It became the obsession of taking out the people that he could not access. Basically, he wanted to get rid of the women he could not access because it first started with a lot of cheap dopamine in terms of women, probably pornography, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Pornography, seeing women, going to college, seeing women that he couldn't get, and then eventually it turned into I can't get these women, so now it's a hateful thing. You know what I'm saying? So then it turned to that, and then over time, he was like, you know what? I want to take him out. He probably had a lot of deep depression. I don't. It's sad. It's kind of the same story we've seen a lot in 2022, 2021, 2020. America devolving into some like super depression shit, but I think that's where we're gonna end this video. This video's been kind of long, so you guys have a nice one. I might talk about another topic out here. Give you guys a last look at the link before I end this video off, and have a nice one, guys. Love you all. God bless you, and Happy New Year's.